Today we're going to take a look at what I think is an interesting display piece that I picked up from my favorite local coin shop. Before I get too much further in this, I'm going to point out that this is made by the Postal Commemorative Society. This is a company that makes display pieces for well over what you should be able to get these items for on the market. So they charge a quite a hefty premium to make presentation pieces where you could get the things actually included in it for a lot cheaper of a price. Unfortunately, someone probably paid a lot of money for this originally, maybe 50, maybe $100. I don't really know. I paid 20 bucks because my coin store is only going to charge what the items inside of it are actually worth. So I will mention that to you. You can check out what they're selling at pcscoin.com, which is what they're known as today. They're still making stuff like this. And there are lots of people that do that in the coin industry. Here's the paper money. They do it with stamps as well. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's take a look at this $5 silver certificate collection. Nothing on the back, by the way. So in this collection, we've got a 1934 silver certificate, which they label as the first small size $5 silver certificate. And then it also includes the 1953, the last $5 silver certificate. So there are only two of them at this size, and they've included both of them. And one of the reasons that I decided to pick this up is the cheapest $5 silver certificate note that I could find on eBay was $10. So worst case scenario, the value of these two notes by themselves is going to be about $20 what I paid for the whole lot down here. So I thought this was particularly interesting, but it's a nice display piece to go with it. So I will say that there is a lot of text on here that has to deal with the life of Abraham Lincoln. If you are not an American and don't know who that is, he is the president who helped to free the slaves. And so he is regarded as one of our all-time most important presidents, but he was also assassinated in 1965. So I will read one paragraph on here that's related to coins that I like here at the bottom. And I'll show you some of the paper money while I read it. Abraham Lincoln first appeared on United States currency during his first term as president. His portrait was briefly included on $10 and $20 bills between 1861 and 1864, as well as on a $100 bill from 1869 to 1880. $500 gold certificates from 1863 to 1922, and the $1 silver certificate from 1899. In 1914, Lincoln's portrait was first included on the $5 Federal Reserve note, and he has been featured on every $5 bill since then. In addition to paper money, Lincoln became the first historical person to appear on U.S. circulating U.S. coin when the Lincoln penny was first struck in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. His image was also included on the Illinois State Quarter in 2003. So that is kind of a neat numismatic history of Lincoln. So one of the things I do like about this display piece, and if you ever wanted to pull it out of here, you can flip it over and there's like a little pocket right here you can pull it out. But these do not look that much different than the $5 bills that I grew up with on here. So let's take a look at the back of the 1934 version. See if I can do this in such a way where the other one doesn't get in the way. Yeah, this looks a lot like the money I'm used to growing up with. So here's a little paragraph describing this note. On February 28, 1878, the U.S. Congress authorized the first issue of silver certificate currency. Most paper currency at this time was backed only by the faith of the government. Let me pause for just a moment. And you get a lot of people in the silver stacking community today talking about fiat currency, and that's what we're talking about here. Each original silver certificate was backed by actual Morgan silver dollars in the U.S. Treasury. Silver certificates could be redeemed by the bearer for the coins at any time. As a result, silver certificates were trusted by the public because they had tangible value. The first small-size $5 silver certificates were made in 1934 and feature a portrait of Abraham Lincoln based on a photograph by Civil War photographer Matthew Brady. The back depicts the Lincoln Memorial, which was dedicated in Washington, D.C. in 1922. So there you go with the front of that one again. Let me now switch to the other one. And the note that it has on here, in 1953, the U.S. Treasury introduced a new version of the $5 silver certificate. It is similar to the only previous small-size $5 silver certificate issued in 1934, apart from a smaller Treasury seal, which is right here, and a gray 5. So you can compare. That one's a little bit of a larger seal, and the number 5 is blue right there on the old one. So Treasury seals on silver certificates were blue to make them easily distinguishable from other types of currency that circulated at the same time. Like the 1934 $5 silver certificate, the bearer of this note could redeem it for $5 in silver from the U.S. Treasury. Due to diminishing silver stockpiles, the Treasury halted the practice of redeeming silver certificates for silver bullion on June 24, 1968. The 1953 note is America's last $5 silver certificate. So if you want to talk about what things are worth, and I said earlier that I could probably purchase these two notes by themselves for $20 off of eBay. So the face value here is $10. I could, in other words, in 90 years or so, this has gone up in value. It's doubled in value in 80 to 90 years. That's not really a good return. Now, it's great for someone like me that doesn't want to spend a lot on a product like this in my lifetime, but you compare this to, it talks about how you could have turned this in for $5 Morgan dollars. What's that going to be worth today? The cheapest Morgan dollar you can probably find is about $30. Well, maybe if you found some coal silver dollars, you could get them for absolute lowest price, $25. So 5 of those would be worth $125. I think you could probably do the same thing for coal piece dollars, still be worth $125. Well, what about if it is, instead of getting piece dollars, you got Mercury dimes, or the cheapest last silver Roosevelt dimes that are only worth silver melt value? Well, those still go for about 20 times face over something like that. So just in silver, you'd be getting about $100 if you would cash these in. So this is, who knows what's going to happen in the future, and I'm just kind of pointing that out historically, what's happened on here. So since this is the Postal Commemorative Society, there is an additional feature on here, which I dabble in stamps very lightly, but I do like some of the things that we see here. It includes 4 Lincoln stamps. I don't know the value on these, and I do think that the value of stamps has tanked since the internet came around. This is a collection. I think it's fading compared to a lot of other investments out there, or collectibles, I should say. Please don't invest in stamps unless you really know what you're doing. But we have this stamp here that commemorates the 100th anniversary of the famous Lincoln-Douglas debates. Those are the debates that got Lincoln well known on the national stage. Even though he lost that election, it propelled him to the national spotlight and helped him to win presidency a couple of years later. So this stamp was issued in 1958, which was probably a century after those debates. Move on to the next one here. We have a 1-cent stamp. Features a portrait of Lincoln as he looked when he ran for president in 1860. It was issued in 1959. So this was when he was clean shaven. See if we can get what we can get here. This stamp honors one of Lincoln's most famous quotes expressed in a 1859 letter. It was issued in 1960. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. So there he is. I guess a quote made famous as he tried to abolish slavery in America. And then let's tilt the camera a little bit and get this one last one right here. This stamp depicts a memorial sculpture of Abraham Lincoln by artist Gutzon Borglum, issued in February of 1959. So we've got another 3-cent stamp here. So if you didn't tell me the date on any of these stamps, I would have thought they were a lot older than that. So what are these stamps worth? Well, you might just get face value for them. And so you've got like 11 cents worth of stamps on here. But again, I think the sum is greater than the whole here, as long as you are not paying some outrageous collector's price for these. So let's go ahead and zoom out one more time just to see the entire set here. I do think it's an interesting display piece, and this is just going to be on a bookshelf for now. But it's kind of a neat way to collect the fives. I was out there, I didn't have any fives. I have some 1 silver certificates, and I'm trying to branch out a little bit more in paper currency. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.